Sideline. Sideline. That's for keeping us last night. That's for keeping us last night. Sit on the side.
Ladies and gentlemen, we will start. I just want to make it very
You're lucky you're not on, you're lucky you're not sitting in the middle of memorial.
in the room are very sensitive and they will be picking up everything so that we will be able to be very inclusive to everyone about this wonderful session that we're about to take place. So just be mindful of conversations because they will be picked up. So first let me say good afternoon. My name is Della McCall and I'm the Director of Community Engagement. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of Mayor Sayre and all of our public safety partners, we would like to welcome you to the first City of Paterson PatStat. Before we begin, we would like to go over some housekeeping. This meeting will be recorded and rebroadcast via social media so that everyone has an opportunity to see this forum on their own schedule. All community issues addressed today will be the result of pre-submitted questions and comments by our residents and stakeholders. To have an issue addressed at a future PatStat or reserve a seat for the in-person attendance, community residents are encouraged to visit the PatStat submission portal that is located in the description of the live stream and available on our social media pages. Even if you have a concern, even if your concern is not publicly addressed during today's forum, all submissions are categorized by stakeholder and they will be delivered to the appropriate agency or community partner so that they may work to prioritize what our residents feel is important to move Paterson forward. Thank you for joining us today, and now I will be turning the meeting over to our mayor, the Honorable Andre Sayre.
Thank you, Director Della. First, I'd like to thank our host, Dr. Steve Rose, here at Passaic County Community College. We can give him a round of applause. One of the reasons why we selected Passaic County Community College, with all due respect, Councilman Lewis Velez, we didn't want to have him in council chambers because this is not a council meeting. This will not last 7 hours. The BA and other department heads will have an opportunity to get a good night's rest this evening. We won't have to stress about anything that is discussed at this meeting. I'm going to take everyone back to January 9th, 2020. I was joined by our leaders here at the police department, and we visited an NYPD CompStat meeting. I've always been fascinated by the concept of CompStat. Read about Jack Maple, who created the methodology relative to fighting crime that was implemented in New York and in other cities, and wanted to do the same here. Unfortunately, the pandemic happened and we had to put everything on pause. But here we are. We told the public that we wanted to have CompStat with the community in the form of customizing it as PatStat, where it doesn't focus solely on public safety, but it is a component of what we'd like to address as a part of this public-facing forum. And we also want to address quality of life concerns. And for those that don't go to council meetings, want to just submit questions, they would have an opportunity, they would have a forum to let us know what is on their minds. And so I'm proud of the work that we've done in Paterson, and we're continuing to do it in Paterson as well. We pride ourselves on becoming a city of synergy, but a city of synergy that also is a city of solutions. Director Rodriguez, I'm sure you deal with problems every day just like I do, but people don't want to hear about the problems. They want to hear about the solutions. How are we going to fix it? I just left Cliff Street. It's being repaved. Senior citizens were hanging outside of their windows at 50 Belmont, thanking us and praising the work that's being done by the city. But I'll elaborate a little bit later on our road resurfacing efforts, which is a major part of our infrastructure improvement agenda. But at this time, I'd like to go around the table so that for those that have an opportunity to tune in, will know who everyone is and what they do in our city. So I'll start to my left.
Good afternoon. My name is Lourdes Balin. I'm Deputy Chief of Paterson Police. in charge of field services, and I am here on behalf of Officer in Charge Issa Abbasi, who had a scheduling conflict.
I am Director Joey Spezial. I am in charge of Public Safety, the Department of Public Safety, which encompasses the Police Division, the Fire Division, the Office of Emergency Management, and our EMS component. Thank you.
Good afternoon, I'm Alex Alice, I'm the acting fire chief for the Paterson Fire Department. We obviously do fire safety, fire department, EMS, our OEM, and that's it, thank you.
Good afternoon, I'm Captain Pat Murray, Paterson Police Department, Executive Officer.
Deputy Chief Stanley Rodriguez, in charge of investigative services. Captain Michael Saginario, Executive Officer, Field Service Bureau.
Lieutenant Sharon Beeston, in charge of the Community Partnership Bureau.
Deputy Chief Jason McCombs, Executive Officer, Paterson Fire Department.
Captain Herb Eggers, fire official, City of Paterson.
4 years, OEM Coordinator, City of Paterson.
Carolyn McCombs, Executive Director of Destiny Family Success Centers here in Paterson, and the host agency of the Restorative and Transformative Justice Dream Center Hub.
We're gonna have to elaborate on that later. Our curiosity.
Della McCall, Director of Community Engagement.
Doug Golden, head of the Follow-Up Initiative at New Destiny Family Success Center, and the founder and director of the New Star Tennis Academy, Paterson Tennis Academy in Paterson.
My name is Valeda Hall. I'm the Reentry Services Coordinator for the City of Paterson.
I'm Nick Ozzie, Chief Innovation Officer for the City of Paterson.
Javier Fernandez, Constituent Service, City of Paterson.
Good afternoon, Tiffany Harris Delaney, Director of Economic Development for the City of Paterson.
Joel Ramirez, Director of Health and Human Services for the City of Paterson.
Juan Hernandez, Recycling Coordinator and Clean Communities Coordinator.
Bill Rodriguez, Director, DPW.
Damon Ibushi, Corporation Counsel.
I'm Christian Caligari, Chief of Staff for the Mayor.
Kathleen Long, Business Administrator.
Thank you, Madam PA. So this is about accountability, but I also want the community to see the diversity that exists within my administration. We're really encouraged that we are a reflection on the population that we serve. At this time, I want to turn it over to my co-chair, our Deputy Chief Lourdes Phelan, just so that we can have a discussion relative to the police department. Co-chair.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We're honored to be here and help make PatStat a model for interagency collaboration in New Jersey. The Paterson Police Department has been working diligently to address crime and quality of life in our community, and we look forward to sharpening our focus by participating in the PatStat process. To begin, I would like to have Captain Mike Saginario, my XO, up to the podium for a brief presentation on the crime of the city.
Absolutely, Chief. Thank you. Good afternoon, Mr. Mayor, Chiefs, Directors, Council members, and distinguished guests. As I said earlier, I'm Captain Michael Saginario, Executive Officer of Field Service Bureau. I'm going to talk to you about the year-to-date violent crime statistics. Year-to-date, we've experienced a significant decrease in crime, specifically in the violent crime indicators. These decreases are attributed to precision enforcement, innovative deployment strategies, and the institution of over 50 strategic initiatives. The year-to-date numbers for violent crimes are as follows. Homicides are down almost 35% from 23 to 15, with the number of shooting victims falling 22%, resulting in 25 less shooting victims so far this year in the city of Paterson. Shooting incidents are down 32%, with 28 less shootings. Sexual assault is down 24% from 66 to 50. Robbery is down almost 23%, resulting in 80 less robberies so far this year. Aggravated assaults are down over 15%, a difference of 163 less aggravated assaults. Nonviolent crime indicators have remained relatively flat. Burglaries had a 0.6% increase. Thefts are up 3.5%. And auto thefts remained flat as well, with an increase of only 0.4%. Overall, in the city of Paterson, crime is down 5%.
Thank you, Captain. While you're up there, can you discuss the 28-day violent crime indicators, please?
Absolutely, Chief. As for the 28-day outlook on violent crime indicators, robberies are down over 16%. Aggravated assaults are down over 20%. Sexual assaults have remained flat with no increase at all. The number of shooting incidents are down 33.3%, and the number of shooting victims is down almost 19%. Unfortunately, 6 of these shooting incidents resulted in fatalities, versus 2 in the prior period. But we have already closed 2 of these homicide investigations via arrest and have already identified another subject in a separate incident. And we are diligently pursuing his apprehension. And as for the other incidents, we've already have significant leads, and we will utilize our investigative resources and techniques to bring these investigations to a successful conclusion and bring the responsible parties to justice. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Captain. Before I turn over the mic, we'll have Community Partnerships Division quickly get up. Give us a highlight of some of the upcoming community engagement opportunities for our partners in this room, please. Lieutenant Sharon Easton.
Thank you, Chief. Good afternoon, Honorable Mayor Saya and esteemed city officials and dedicated community members. It is an honor to stand before you this afternoon, but before I begin, I have a question. Have y'all seen our new uniforms? They're nice, right?
Yeah, now.
They look good, they look more approachable and more engaging. The essence of community affairs, the essence of the Community Affairs Division lies not just in the hands of law enforcement, but in the collaborative efforts of every resident, every neighborhood, and every dedicated community member, organization, and division. Our journey thus far has been one of collective effort, shared vision, and mutual respect. So I thank you all for your support. Our city has achieved remarkable milestones in community affairs, and it's crucial to acknowledge that this success is not ours alone. It is the result of continuous dialogue, understanding, and unwavering commitment of everyone present here, along with our community partners at the Paterson Housing Authority, Division of Recreation, the Paterson Fire Department, the Quality of Life Task Force, our Downtown Special Improvement District, our Community Health Center, our clergy, the Board of Education, and the Mayor's Office. Our current initiatives, from our roundtable listening sessions, our coffee with a cop mornings, to our mental health conference, and our IMP youth mentorship and work programs. Community affairs has taken many vibrant forms in our city. These initiatives, along with our neighborhood watch partnerships, our after-school programs, underscores our commitment to fostering trust and building strong community bonds. Looking ahead, the journey doesn't end here. We're excited about our upcoming Safe Streets projects, Community Affairs Annual Women's Conference next month, plus our plans to expand our youth and adult engagement and launch community-led safety workshops are on the horizons. We believe that working together, our best days in community collaborations are yet to come. Here are just a few of our upcoming events. Our October 31st annual Trick or Treat Halloween event in front of police headquarters. On November 11th, we'll be hosting our annual women's conference. Our guest speakers are Tamar Braxton and our very own Chief Issa Abasa. We have a Thanksgiving turkey giveaway and our mayor's favorite, Shop with a Cop. We have our Winter Wonderland at Eastside Park. We have our Sundays open gym and haircut for our youth. We have our We Got Friends autism program. We're going to do a winter gloves and hats giveaway in collaboration with several fraternities. And we also have our Christmas giveaway in front of headquarters in partnership with Toys for Tots. In the era of community trust in an era where community trust is paramount, we are also starting our community affairs recruitment kickoff program. Our program aims to attract individuals who don't just wear the badge, but who are committed to understanding, serving and growing alongside our residents. And for your information, we have approximately 20 officers who joined through our recruitment program for 2020, and they were some of the highest scoring individuals in the state. And today, right now, they are making a difference in our community. Our recruitment strategies are we use local schools, community center, grandparents organization in the streets, and to ensure we attract diverse pool of candidates who reflect our community's values and demographics. We provide test prep workshops, physical fitness training, and alumni. That's the old school meet and greets. And there are potential recruits get a first-hand look at the importance of community-centered policing. Finally, our upcoming 2024 events are New Year, New You, health and wellness through cooking and dance with Chef John. And we're reorganizing the Men That Stand Up organization, and we're prepping for our conference. In closing, as we enhance our vision for the future of the PPD Next Gen, let's continue to bridge the gap, continue to foster trust, continue collaborations between our community and the police department. Let's stay engaged and let's make a difference together. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lieutenant. Very proud of your work. Mayor, thank you again for having us, and we look forward with working with everyone in this group with the PatStat process.
Thank you, Deputy Chief. I really appreciate that presentation. It just reiterates to me, or reminds me, why I wanted to do this. It's about transparency, it's about trust, it's about accountability, it's letting the public know that we understand there's always opportunities for improvement, and that's exactly what we're doing. And I want to salute our police department. From the start of this year, we've seen a significant decrease in violent crime. So you've been doing this work since January, and those first 3 months, we saw a significant decrease in homicides and in shootings. So thank you, Detective Captain Pat Murray. Thank you, Deputy Chief Stanley Rodriguez. Thank you, Captain Saginaro. Thank you, Lieutenant, soon to be Detective Lieutenant Sharon Easton, and thank you, Deputy Chief Lourdes Phelan. Also, want to dovetail on something you said, Lieutenant, relative to, yes, I love Shop with a Cop. We'll be doing it again this Christmas season. We also take students bowling. We call it Bowl with the Blue, because we understand that we want to improve the relationship between the police and the public. We also want young people as a recruiting strategy to interact with police officers in a positive environment so that perhaps some of our young men and women want to aspire to be police officers. We're actually undergoing a feasibility study for a recreation center we want to build. One of the options is the public safety complex, because we feel like police officers, community policing, interact with these youngsters in a recreational environment. Again, perhaps they want to pursue a career in policing. And we do recognize as administration that since we took office, the public safety complex is woefully inadequate. So we'd like to address that as well. So stay tuned. Spoiler alert, it's just a sneak peek as to what we're discussing with the business administrator. If she gets enough sleep, we can get more work done. But that's no reflection on anyone here, right, Director Rodriguez? We've just been joined by our Michael Jackson. Michael G. Jackson, just wanted to tell everybody what you do, who you are, what you do.
Michael Jackson, I'm the General Supervisor of Public Works. In short, I'm the go-to guy.
Yes, that is correct. That's how I have him stored in my phone, the go-to guy. The G is for go-to. Thank you, Michael G. Jackson. Also want to acknowledge the efforts on Broadway. So we've cleaned up Broadway. That's been a problem in the past. My daughters and I, we drive down there every day on our way, so taking to school. And they said, Daddy, what are we going to do? These people need help. They need to heal. And Thankfully, we take a multi-pronged approach. I mean, the police can do their part, but DPW has done their part as well with some of the improvements that have made cosmetically for the most part, but speaks to the fact that we care. We also care in regards to getting help to these individuals who have been afflicted with drug addiction. And that's why we're so encouraged to have our Chief Innovation Officer, who buttresses the work of our opioid response team, and we just hired a new program monitor, Tanae Jordan Jr., who's coming back to Paterson, and she's gonna be heading up the efforts with the opioid response team. And that's what, thank you, Acting Fire Chief. We partnered with the EMT, the police, and social workers to go out and engage people who are suffering from opioid use disorder. And we've had hundreds of referrals, but last year we were awarded $1 million from Michael Bloomberg so that we can help people who are struggling. And I want at this time to yield the floor to our Chief Innovation Officer, Ed Bosey, so he can elaborate a little bit more about what Real Fix is.
Yeah. Not sure if you can hear me. Okay, anyway, Real Fix is a program whereby people with addiction, opioid use disorder, can get treatment on demand. So what we were finding is that engaging people with addiction is that very often the system was set up for, hey, I want to go into treatment, I can get you into treatment next Monday. Next Monday might as well be next year, right? But basically they are facing withdrawal in 4 hours and they will do anything to avoid withdrawal. And if you don't make medication available to them to counteract withdrawal, the only choice you leave them open to them is to continue with illicit opioids. So we created 833 Real Fix, whereby anybody standing in the city of Paterson can call 833 Real Fix, and within a targeted 90 minutes, we can get them medication in their hand to counteract withdrawal. So the objective there is to make the medication to deal with your addiction faster, easier, and cheaper to get than it is to get illicit opioids. That's pretty much long and short of it. And so far, we've gotten 160 people in Paterson into treatment. And it's been an amazing success. We'd like to see more people who at least half of them have been homeless. We'd like to see a lot more people who are housed to start calling in. So again, I encourage people, if you know anybody that has an addiction, encourage them to call 1-833-REAL-FIX. They're not gonna have to wait. They're gonna speak with a doctor over the phone, and within an hour and a half, they're gonna have a knock on their door, and the medication is gonna be given to them to counteract withdrawal.
Ed, could you also elaborate, you're not just a one-man show, you've been able to scale up and staff up.
Yeah, right, so we've hired a project monitor, Dr. James Monks, and a social worker, Ingrid Lawnick. So they do this. Also, we've contracted with service providers. There's a company called Onyx in the city. They're kind of like an Uber version, a Paterson version of Uber, Pattersonians striving Pattersonians. So if instead of just the medication, you want to get into an inpatient addiction treatment, we will drive you there, through that contract with that provider. And again, we're shooting for an hour and a half, 2 hours. In other words, you're not going to have to you're not going to have to go through withdrawal again. We're going to get you treatment before you go into withdrawal, right? So yeah, it's not just me, it's not just a one-man show. We also hope that now we've engaged the state, we've engaged the county. Our objective now is to get funding to bring this from Paterson to the entire county. So.
And to be quite candid, some people didn't understand Ed Bosey when he first started. Some of you were in this room, me included. He speaks a different language, innovation, but I feel like we needed divergent thinking in this city, think differently and act differently, and this is doing something different. And so when Michael Bloomberg issued this Global Mayor's Challenge and 631 cities from around the world applied, he came to my office and said, I think this will address a long-standing challenge in Paterson, only exacerbated by the pandemic. And last week we were with Michael Bloomberg, and his team told us that there were 15 out of the 631 picked, but if they only had to pick one, they would have picked us. That it was just, it has to happen, because the way Ed framed it to them was, drug dealers are really good at customer service. But what if we were better than the drug dealers at customer service? And that's what Real Fix is about. Because Chief Alisei, you know, when we were featured, our fire department on A&E Live Rescue, in one episode, and there are other fire departments that were featured as well, in one episode, we had to administer Narcan 12 times. One episode, and that's like a quick fix that just brings people back. And then fentanyl, heroin, whatever that individual's addicted to, that's a fake fix. But the real fix is something statistically proven to help heal the brain and wean these individuals off whatever they're addicted to, the Suboxone. So I'm really encouraged. But ultimately what our goal is to become a model municipality that other cities would want to emulate as far as our efforts to address opioid use disorder is concerned. And you look like you
Yeah,
want to say something.
we actually set up the whole thing, so 833 Real Fix, we're gonna have realfix.org, by which you can get referrals to vetted treatment centers, you know, quality treatment centers that are offering medication-assisted treatment. And really, we set it up so that other cities can join on board. And we're already seeing, you know, several cities contacting us and saying, how do we roll this out into our cities? So, you know, it's something that, you know, people asked what the inspiration for this was, and I said it was Domino's Pizza. How can I get a pizza in half an hour and yet I can't get life-saving medication in enough time? It's like Domino's intimately understands its clients. If I don't get you a pizza within a half hour, you will eat something else.
Yeah.
Right? If I don't get you medication to counteract your withdrawal, you are going to use illicit opioids.
Well said, Ed. I prefer Papa John's, but yeah.
Mayor,
Madam PA.
thank you. If I could add one point here, and I just really want to give Ed and his team a lot of credit, but especially Ed, as he ramped this up and really made the case to us as part of the application process. Ed had to do a lot of work of educating in Paterson as well, because we do have just a wonderful network of social service agencies, of partners, of people who've been doing the work in the homelessness field for a long time, in the addiction field. And the science speaks for itself, but the science is fairly new. And a lot of people from the start, didn't trust the science and didn't say, okay, this is really what we want to do, because maybe cold turkey is better. Maybe it's, you know, we really have to provide a supportive environment and that's gonna help people over the edge. But now we know the medicine is there to help people over the edge. And I just give you a ton of credit, because that was the first step, to really have those conversations around the table, try to change people's minds, show them, just read this article, work with me here, look at how this is successful in other places. And that's what got us to where we are today. So I give you a lot of credit.
Thank you, Madam. And she's also the head of the innovation team, so they report to her. And Ed, very thorough. One omission was the fact that you said you'd get it to these individuals, the Suboxone, within 90 minutes. When you piloted, you got it what? 76 minutes. So he under-promised and over-produced or overperformed. So we're grateful for the fact that you've done that and created partnerships, because we're a collaborative administration. Rutgers University, Chief of Pharmacy, and South Paterson, they're all participating in this program. Go ahead.
Yeah, actually, just one person that you might, to make this personal. You've probably seen one individual, homeless individual in Paterson. He's a dual amputee in a wheelchair. With diabetes, when he became homeless 12 years ago, he had both legs, okay? Because of his addiction, being on the street, unable to deal with his diabetes, he lost both legs to infection, all right? He's now one of our Real Fix success stories. He's been housed, he's been in long-term care for 3 months now, and we've got him lined up for an apartment, and I visited him yesterday. He's doing great. So think about that. 12 years on the street of people saying, I'll help you next week. Next week never came for him. You know, it's when he called and said, I need help now, that we got him in right away, and that made all the difference, so.
End the meeting right now on that note. But I will tell you, he has established a relationship, because when I engage unsheltered individuals, right before I can say it, they'll say, I know, you want me to go see Ed Bosey. So yes, we have our work cut out for us, but you're doing the work, and we're encouraged by what we've done thus far. But like I said before, there's so much for us to do. Thank you, Ed. And it's just a part of a multi-pronged approach. We're the only city in the state of New Jersey, one of only 30 in the country, that has a financial empowerment center where we provide free, confidential, one-on-one financial counseling. And we've helped hundreds upon hundreds of Patersonians fix their credit score, reduce their debt, stay in their homes, and become potentially, if they want to, first-time home buyers. We also are going to be rolling out a community court. We're actually hiring right now for that position to head up the community court, where low-level, non-violent offenders who get clogged up in the court system can't advance with their lives. Their career opportunities are restricted. So we're hoping in that regard, we can lighten the load on public safety and do our part as an administration that really cares for our community and help these individuals. I alluded to road resurfacing earlier. So this year, thank you DPW, we've resurfaced 20 streets. Chamberlain Avenue, both phases, done. Although I did get a text message that you left out 6 blocks of Chamberlain Avenue, even though we did 25 blocks. Eli, you know this is like a thankless job, right? But I love it. I love going to work. I always enjoy working with the team that we've assembled here. So Chamberlain Avenue is finished. Cliff Street in progress right now. 14th Avenue should be done by next week. And then thank you, Councilor Luis Velez and your colleagues. They approved Cumberland and Manchester.
Seven copies.
Yes, that's right. Seven. Thank you. Thank you for pointing out the accuracy of that. But everybody always wants to know, what about River Street?
Yes.
Yeah. I heard that in the back. If we don't do anything else as an administration, we are going to resurface River Street. Hinchcliffe Stadium, yes, that's part of our legacy, but if we can get River Street done, that might surpass Hinchcliffe Stadium and the restoration and rebirth of our national treasure. It's 3 phases. We want everybody to be patient. In fact, Director Rodriguez, do you want to elaborate where we are right now with River Street? You want to give them a brief,
We're just finishing up. Hello?
Yeah.
Hello?
Is something you said you were saying?
It was on,
Yeah.
tested it.
What happened?
They're controlling it, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, control.
Okay. As long as it's not DPW is responsible.
We'll get blamed for it anyway.
I know, thanks.
We are finished with the design phase with River Street.
That's phase 1 of 3.
Phase 1, phase 2 will be construction of the sewer system, the new separate sanitation and sewer lines. And phase 3 will be the overlay, the new patch on the road that you drive on. We'll have more details by the next PatStat when our new engineer comes in.
Right.
So once we get started, that's the first thing he's working on.
And I'm glad that you make reference to the new engineer who starts
Monday.
this Monday. James McGrath comes to us from the private sector, highly qualified, but more importantly, he is highly motivated. He still wants to come, even though I warned him that he has a pile as high as the Freedom Tower waiting for him in Paterson to address. But he's still very eager and is approaching this endeavor with alacrity. Yes, he just reached out to us. So cheerful readiness as he embarks on this new mission in his life. Now, last week we announced that we're relaunching the Guaranteed Income Initiative. Last year, we were able to help 110 randomly selected residents by providing those families with $400 a month for the year. We have anecdotal information, Director Ramirez. They've purchased more groceries as a result, medicine that they probably couldn't afford prior to this program, school supplies for their children, and my favorite, one family said for the first time in their lives they had a real Thanksgiving. Well, this year we're rolling it out just in time for Christmas. Hopefully, a family can say they had a real Christmas for the first time in their lives. This time it's 200 people that we're going to help with $400 a month. And we launched it on Friday. Lieutenant, you know how many people have already applied? 3,000 people. So there's a demand. What does that tell you? Last year we had 5,000 and we're not even halfway into the deadline here. The deadline is October 30th. And so applications will be available until that time. I also want to acknowledge that we have deputy mayors, active deputy mayors here, effective deputy mayors. Deputy Mayor Eli Burgos, thank you for joining us. Deputy Mayor Dr. Joseph Fulmore Sr., thank you for joining us. And Deputy Mayor Maria del Pilar Rivas. Without the nothing makes some of the best empanadas I've ever had. Thank you. We need fuel in this position. We're doing well with time. I talked about the opioid response team, Real Fix, the community court, financial empowerment center. and the guaranteed income and how we're trying to help low-income residents. But I'd like to yield the floor to someone who works out of my office, and it's the first mayor's office to have someone that deals with reentry. So I'd like to now hear from our reintegration services coordinators, always chomping at the bit to say something for Leda Hall, and I was being sarcastic when I said it.
Good afternoon, everyone. So basically, my position is assisting clients coming out of incarceration. I help connect them with services. Services anywhere from employment, housing, food, clothing, education, medical necessities, anything someone would need upon release, I would be able to point them in the direction for those services. My clients usually, I work with Ed a lot. My clients usually come out either homeless or they have some sort of addiction. That's kind of where me and Ed cross paths a lot. So we actually service some of the same clients. However, I work with some of everyone in the city of Paterson. I only work with Paterson residents. So if you see anyone homeless out in the street and they need help, you can always direct them to me. I'll be more than willing to help them or put them in the direction to where they can receive help. I've had a housing fair which was really successful. I had Lieutenant Easton as one of my panel speakers. Thank you very much. And it was really helpful to the community because they learned a lot about housing laws and, landlord-tenant laws, what's illegal, what's not, and what they can do if something illegal is happening with their residents, and that was given to the entire community. So I'm very engaged in the community. I partner with a lot of the nonprofit agencies. I work with Pastor Doug and other community leaders to make this program great. Some of the things that I'm trying to do with this program is expand it. Hopefully we'll be expanding it to create programs. I want to create a employment and entrepreneurship program for clients who may not be ready for traditional 9-to-5 work, because my client population, a lot of the times 9-to-5s don't fit them well. So they'll do better on their own time in their own businesses and be more successful that way. Also, I'm hoping to put together a housing program where I can help clients coming out of incarceration and of course get them employment, maybe have their first apartment. So I'll be able to help them with security deposit assistance and things like that. So right now I'm actively searching for funding to put those programs into place. So that's pretty much what I have for now.
Thank you. Also want to acknowledge the other members of our innovation team. We have our data analyst with us, Johnny Sang. And we can't underscore the importance of data enough. Data drives decision making. In fact, Michael Bloomberg's fond of saying, "In God we trust, everyone else bring data." And data helped us during the pandemic because that's how we knew when to close down those non-essential businesses and then when to reopen based on the data we had with the infection rate, hospitalization rate, and some of the other metrics that we use. We also have with us, all the way from Peru, who just graduated from Harvard's distinguished Kennedy School of Government with a master's degree, our Harvard fellow, who is being funded entirely by Michael Bloomberg, Ana Rocio. Thank you, Ana Rocio, for joining us. It was alluded to earlier that we have community partners, and one of them is here. He is not only a tennis professional, tennis leader, but he's a cherished friend and a proud Patersonian. So at this time, I'd like to present to everyone Pastor Doug Gould.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. It's a delight to be here. One of our former presidents said, "Ask not what your city can do for you, ask what you can do for your city." 8 years ago, I decided to move into the city of Paterson after having a heart for the kids in the city of Paterson. I used to be the head tennis coach and health and wellness instructor at Fairleigh Dickinson University. I used to take kids out of the city to the university to expose them to something different. As as the mayor mentioned, one of my crafts was tennis. I owned a tennis academy for a number of years, and I saw kids' lives turn around. They would say to me, the reason I'm not in jail is because of you, because my brother is in juvie or something of the sort, because I gave him a safe space. So I decided to move into the city because I thought I could have a greater impact being a resident of this great city of Paterson. When it comes to gun violence, it's personal. My wonderful son, Doug Jr. is here, who is a victim of gun violence. And thank God he's here with me. He could have been somewhere else. So the work that I do, not only as the coordinator for the New Destiny Family Success Center Fathers Initiative, go far, because we believe that if we have relationships with the father and their kids have good, stable relationships, that will put violence down. One of the programs that we're starting, because we are renovating our tennis courts in this wonderful city, we're gonna have a program where we're putting rackets in the kids' hands so that they don't pick up guns. You can't have two things in the same space. So the plan is to get kids involved in tennis in the city. Paterson will be a leader in producing tennis players. What tennis did for me, it sent me to college. It took me around the world. It got me to build relationships with people that would have never interacted with. So I have this distinguished privilege in the city of Paterson to work with fathers through New Destiny, which we're just helping fathers to know that they're important and they're necessary. Because when fathers are engaged, our kids will find their way, not to the street, but to something positive. And so we'll be using the Fatherhood Initiative combined with providing tennis lessons and tennis program for our kids so that a lot of our Paterson kids will go to college into the street. Our goal is to keep them out of the court so we can keep them on the court. Thank you so much.
Wow. Referencing President Kennedy, you have your way of words with that turn of the phrase as well. It was incredible. Pastor Doug is right. We are doubling down on recreation in the city of Paterson. I want to thank our business administrator. We prioritize our youth and the fact that we want to give positive outlets to young men and women in Paterson. And with the collaboration of our Director of the Department of Public Works, we have renovated 10 athletic fields. When we started, we didn't have a single playground that accommodated children with special needs here in Paterson. Now we have 3. And we're going to continue improving parks in the 4th Ward, Barber Park, Vera Ames Community Park. We also have finished, want to say something? Are you mouthing something? I'm like, okay, did I miss something? But we also are improving Eastside Park. We resurfaced all the roads. We just finished the sidewalk on the Park Avenue entrance. We restored the cricket clubhouse. We created pedestrian pathways. When our new engineer comes in, we'll have the historic steps repaired, as well as the playground. And the tennis court, which is now orange and blue. I don't know if you've seen it. They're done, Director Spezial.
Yes.
Orange and blue for Eastside High School, of course. Now, Lieutenant Easton's looking at me and saying, I went to Kennedy. Whoa. Director, Deputy Mayor, please. Hold your applause. That was good. He's a knight too. But Pastor Doug was in the meeting. We met with the regional manager of the United States Tennis Association, David Williams. First thing he said, did we beat pickleball to Paterson? Because it's all the rage, right? Detective Campbell. And we said, yes. He said, well, we want to partner with you. So we partner with them. So part of the partnership is that we've applied for funding through the United States Tennis Association for Westside Park. And Lieutenant Easton, what colors do you think those tennis courts are going to be? Red and black. That is correct. Very good. Now you can applaud. Next time you said like an applause sign or something like that. And then School 25, not to be outdone, that's going to get renovated as well through the United States Tennis Association. And School 25, we just renovated the field thanks to a contribution from Bergen County, your old neck of the woods. This benefactor from Woodland Woodcliff Lake, she gave us $250,000 for that field, and she gave us $600,000 for Lester Titus Field. So a woman doesn't even live here, gave us almost $1 million because she believes in what we're doing in this city, and $100 million are invested in our pools, playgrounds, parks, and other play spaces. Pastor, do you want to say something?
Yeah, I just wanted to say thank you to our Lieutenant Easton. She community policing is partnering with the New Destiny Go Far initiative you would be surprised that this little thing on my wrist here changes lives. When I walk the streets of Paterson and I give a man, I just ask him, "Are you a dad?" It says, "Fathers matter, go far." Mayor, do you have yours on?
I don't, I'm sorry, you called me out. Yeah, I'm sorry. I have my Fitbit on, does that count?
You would be surprised.
I'll wear it on Monday.
Please. You'd be surprised what this little wristband does to a man when I engage a man on the street about their responsibility as a father. And I want to thank Lieutenant Easton for your willingness to partner with New Destiny in this effort to get the word out on the street. My goal is to see every police officer having a couple of these, so when they're on their beat, they can give to a dad, because it makes a whole world of difference. And please, anyone who can join us next Monday at 11 o'clock at East Side, we will be doing the ribbon cutting for the tennis courts, because we want our kids to be exposed to the best so that they can be their best. Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you, thank you. Yes, that's an open invitation to everyone here. This Monday, October 30th at 11 a.m., we will be cutting the ribbon on the new and improved orange and blue East Side Park tennis courts.
Thank you for all you do, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Pastor, and I'm challenging you to a match on Monday.
Make sure your wife knows where the papers are.
As a matter of fact, my wife is gonna challenge you. But I'll wear my wristband. So he made a reference, Pastor Doug made a reference to New Destiny. We talked about this feasibility study for a recreation center in Paterson. There was some talk about the old YWCA on Carroll Street. Well, we're not gonna call it old anymore because New Destiny is now going to renovate the space. And can you elaborate, Pastor Carolyn McCombs, on what is going to occur there on Carroll Street?
Well, I'm excited that I am part of the Innovation City here in Paterson.
Thank you.
I really believe that we are a city of first. And so many of you may or may not be aware that in an effort to divert and prevent youth incarceration, the state of New Jersey put aside funding that would have gone to incarcerate youth to build what they call restorative and transformative justice hubs. And these hubs will be based in the community where we bring young people in and we provide a host of wraparound services that will address the root causes of why they are in this behavioral pattern that is harmful. Well, Paterson was one of 4 cities chosen: Hampton, Trenton, Newark, and Paterson. I am happy to report Paterson is the first city to launch the restorative and transformative justice, and we're calling it Dream Center Hub. And the reason why we're calling it Dream Center, we want our youth to enter into this beautiful space, which is about 90% already renovated. There's going to be a cafe there for them. The gymnasium has been renovated. We have private offices for them to receive one-on-one counseling, and it's the place where the Peace Circle itself will take place. So we have trained facilitators who will be able to bring in maybe gang members who are opposed to each other, and using a best practice model called Peace Circles, begin the dialogue of how do we come to a place of reconciliation. And so we are trained in that. So New Destiny will be the host agency providing these opportunities to provide wraparound supports. We want to partner with law enforcement. We want it to encourage, rather than maybe sending them to the courts, for remediation, maybe you can divert them to us. Maybe if you see a youth who's on the verge, send them to us. Give us in the community an opportunity to love on these kids, love on our families, bring them to this place of restoration and dream for a better life.
Thank you. Dr. Combs, when can you tour your 90% ready facility?
So we are.
Oh, you made a mistake saying it was 90.
I should.
I already looked at my schedule for Thursday, tomorrow.
So our formal launch date is December 1st, but we're planning a soft opening November 15th.
Okay.
So anyone that wants a sneak peek, November 15th, we'll welcome you to come. We would welcome anyone here that's participating to come and see this hub space, and even we'll provide more information on how we can partner together. Because we want to have formalized links with family court, with law enforcement, with probation, with the public schools. We've already met with Dr. Lori Newell. We're already putting together a plan for those who will be suspended rather than being suspended, and bring them into the hub, and let's see how we can begin to give them the supports they need.
Thank you, Pastor. I'll see you tomorrow for the tour.
Okay.
You mentioned our new superintendent, Dr. Lori Newell. In the future, we will extend an invitation for her to participate in PatStat, but we do have with us a commissioner from the Paterson Board of Education, Manny Martinez. Thank you for joining us. Let's give a round of applause. At this time, we'll turn it back over to Director Della McCall so that we can field questions. I also want to thank our road inspector, Anthony Fazinga, for joining us. I'm sure that Cliff Street, 14th Avenue, near completion.
I think it's just fitting at this time if we would just give everyone a round of applause for our. So as I said earlier, that these questions were pre-submitted and we are going to begin our Q&A. Due to the shooting at Van Houten Street, the neighbors do feel safe to trick or treat. They don't feel
You mean
safe.
do not feel safe?
Yeah, that's where I'm going.
Yeah.
The neighborhood do not feel safe to trick or treat. Children are prohibited to trick or treat even inside of their buildings. Is it possible to have police and firemen oversee a trick or treat event at the Lou Costello Park to revive the holiday spirit that has been robbed by the shooting for many children in this neighborhood?
Thank you for that. Thank you so much for that question. Paterson Police Department takes the safety of our children as a priority. With that being said, Lieutenant Sharon Easton, can you please talk a little bit about what we can do with this question?
Della, first I would like the phone number to the organizer of that event, but I was told about this situation.
Yeah.
We would like to find out who the organizers are, and we would definitely have some police coverage for an event. We'll sit down and help them organize it.
We will make sure you get that information.
Thank you.
Absolutely, and they're also invited.
Oh, that's right, I'm sorry, and they also will be invited to come out to our trick or treat event in front of headquarters on October the 31st.
And I also would like to extend an invitation to anyone that is watching for the mayor's office trick or treat event that will take place on October 31st at 3:30 to 5:30.
That's right.
Absolutely, we are more than ready to collaborate with anyone for the safety of our children.
Thank you.
Yes, and just to piggyback on what you just said, our event starts from 3 to 7 p.m. on October 31st in front of headquarters. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, children can come to you and then come to me.
Yes.
Or vice versa. Because many families have never had an opportunity to see the mayor's office, and for them, it's a chance.
Extra attention
Yes.
to the one in the high, let's keep it in the fifth ward, that's what they wanna keep safe for the community. Just extra attention when they have the event, so the part of, they don't wanna come down again, they wanna stay in the block. So let's make it possible, extension for the event, and let's keep it in the fifth ward.
Well, that's why she asked for the name
That's
and
right.
number.
Yeah.
Yes,
And
we
if
did
she
mention
gets-
that.
If she get that information, I wanna be on board to be cooperative with them too.
Thank you, Councilman.
That's all of us coming
So make sure
together
it's
to
not
make
council meeting.
something.
Absolutely.
Yes, that's all of us coming together to make sure that our communities, no matter where they are safe and collectively we make it happen.
Absolutely.
The second question, what is the funding source in place to help with service for the homeless? Does the city's budget provide funds for services for the homeless?
And I guess I can jump in and start, and then I wanna turn it off to some of my colleagues here. This is an area, personally for me, I just wanted to take a moment because we're in the shadow here of Our Lady of Victory's Church across the way, where a long time, my mother worked in that church basement as, ran a childcare center that ended up serving a lot of the children, or the children were there because their moms were in school here. And it was one of the, I remember very vividly in my early elementary school years, the pastor there, Father Tom Valletta, was a very good family friend. And I remember talking to him about how he dealt with homelessness who would come into his church. And it was just one of the kind of the eye-opening moments that I realized just how much was being done in the social service area in the city of Paterson by the faith-based community, by the nonprofit community. And it was a time where there wasn't a lot of service going on through government. And that was because there just wasn't a lot of money. And we're a city where it continues to be a place where we can't always do it all. I think the mayor has really led us in a place to think about things differently, as we talked about the urgent vision. There are legacy departments like police, fire, administration, public works that have always been stretched in or are doing our best. Then there's ways that we have grown, even just grown Health and Human Services Department to include work that serves homelessness, to include social workers, having an innovation team, having just more intense partnerships with at the county level, at the state level. So I think we have done our part to everything from community development and CDBG grant funding, even some home funds that have gone out to serve from the nonprofit community to perform this work. But again, starting to build up some resources in a limited capacity to really start handling the calls directly, to start being caseworkers. And then, as Ed had said, a lot of the work that he's doing really supports the homelessness community. It's something that we're always looking for grants for as well. And to continue these type of partnerships at the county level, which is where there is a little bit more funding to support this work and the requirements to do so. But it's something that we're always going to be keeping an eye on because it's truly an intersectional challenge, and it's something that no one department is doing alone, or no one entity like the city of Paterson and the city's budget. But I would like Director Ramirez from Health and Human Services to talk a little bit about how the city's funding is supporting homelessness work and the partnership with the county in particular, and the curriculum or continuum of care, and the COC, and then if Ed has anything else, we talked a little bit about rural fix earlier, but anything else on some of that work as well in terms of homelessness.
Great perspective on that, yeah. So we are continuing our work with the CLC. You know, for over 20 years, we really haven't had that relationship with the county, who legally is mandated and responsible for the homeless situation. They oversee the CLC, which is the continuum of care. The continuum of care receives, and has to be with the CLC, as are almost every agency in the city. They receive the funding from HUD. They make sure that they get the emergency choice vouchers to be able to get people off the street and into sustain long-term housing. The administration has given me the opportunity through funding to have social workers that we did not have on our rise 2 years ago. We actually have clinical social workers who have degrees in their field and have clinical background, which is essential to assisting people. We've developed a long-term relationship with Catholic Charities, which we are now developing a shared services agreement. Because because Catholic Charities does provide a lot of the funding to assist individuals who are experiencing displacement or homelessness. In my office, we've also expanded the municipal ID program to assist those individuals, and Ed and the Lady and so many other nonprofits send people to our office and facilitate that municipal ID because it is the first step into getting back into the system, getting back on the feet, getting a job, and with a bank account, and then submitting documentation like their birth certificate. We do that system to obtain as well, so that they can get on that emergency choice housing list. So administration has funded relocation assistance as well as 2 opioid response team substance use social workers that can also assist when their visits can go out on Wednesdays for quality of life and it has anything to do with homelessness. We also deploy those social workers to assist with that. They bring that information back to the office and we do case management and follow up and referral. So, partnership with the county is essential. We are working on a homelessness hub in the city. We currently have a number of up to 260 chronically homeless individuals in the city. And between Ed, my department, and the county, we are looking to mitigate that situation. Again, in the last 20 years, that work has not been done, that communication has not been there. We're in a great position with Dr. Arden Carr, who oversees the Human Services Department on the county level to make this happen for the city.
One of the 4 affordable housing projects that we have completed in the last 5 years focuses on individuals that have been using the emergency room at St. Joseph's Hospital as shelter. So at Barclay Place, there are units that are reserved for chronically homeless individuals, and now they have a roof over their heads.
I guess just to build upon what Rick said, it's like in working with people on the street who are homeless, like one guy 20 years, another guy 10 years, 12 years, getting them off the street, applying for benefits, you cannot believe how difficult that is. Anybody that's ever applied for anything that's free or subsidized knows there's a lot of people. It's something that somebody on the street just cannot handle, that they need a case manager. But the irony has been, to get a case manager and to apply for benefits, you have to have documentation. You have to have your birth certificate, you have to have your social security card, you have to have your photo driver, you have to have your photo ID, right? And if you don't have that, and here's where data really is meaningful. We survey people on the street, and over half of them don't have a strip of paper with their name on it. Okay? So when people say, get a job, apply for benefits, they cannot, right? If you offered them a job, they could not even take it, right? If you offered them to get them Section 8 or subsidized housing, they would not qualify. But because they don't have that documentation, working with Dr. Ramirez and the health department and working with the continuum of care of the county, we are addressing that point. And if there was one thing I could do besides addiction, wave a magic wand, it would be getting everybody documentation, right? Because, there's that song, the way it is, and you pass somebody on the street and they get a job, so uninformed. They couldn't take a job if you offered it to them, right? The other thing where data is important, so working with our data analyst, Johnny Sang, we analyzed 5 years worth of data, right? We're looking at, when they say, well, why don't they go with the shelters? Well, because there's no room in the shelters. Because the average stay at the shelters has been going up year after year. Currently, last year, the average length of stay in shelters was 311 days, right? And we brought this to the county's attention, and the county has new management, and they are doing great, they are data-driven like we are, and this is gonna change, because that continuum care is like a pipeline. And then there's a clog in the pipeline, so we can't go from the emergency shelter into transitional housing into permanent housing. When that pipeline is clogged, everything backs up, and the people that are on the street are stuck on the street. So, I'm really happy to say that I couldn't say when the Reverend Ramirez came on, I was like, a prayer of thanks, Reverend. And now he has his counterpart in the county, it is making a huge difference. You're gonna see a lot of changes.
Thank you, Ed. And our goal is to help everyone we can. We also have to understand some people are service resistant. So that makes it more challenging for us, but again, we're not giving up, we're gonna dig in and work even harder to get those individuals the services they need. Director.
Our third question is, what can be done about the enormous amount of garbage on our streets, homeowners' properties, and vacant lots with some results that are sustainable throughout the city?
Well, before the record, while we wait for the microphone, we have a quality of life task force, 3 members are here, they go out every Wednesday, so they're helping the mayor's office, public works, and other departments address some of these situations relative to illegal dumping or properties that are not being maintained. I'm proud of the fact that in the last 5 years, we reduced the number of abandoned properties by almost 80% in the city. I mean, it's debatable, right? We can say it's 1,200 to 400. Some say it's 200 now, abandoned properties, depending on who you ask, but we've still driven that number down significantly, which has contributed to some of the issues we've had. Also, through the urban enterprise zone, we're receiving millions of dollars, and we want to really launch a commercial corridor program where we actually hire a company to support the efforts of public works to clean 10th Avenue, 21st Avenue, Park Avenue, Main Street. I'll yield now to
Thank you, Mayor.
Rodriguez.
The first thing we'll do is hold absentee landlords accountable. We need to do that, we need to be more aggressive with that because that's the major problem. We have a lot of rental properties there and property owners just don't care, so we need to make them accountable for their properties. The second thing that we're doing is our street cleaning efforts. When we first started here, we had 4 sweepers. Today now we have 8. We cover every route. From April.
I know I've got 4 tickets.
Yes. From April to today, we gave out over 58,000 tickets for street cleaning this year. We changed the dumping ordinance from $250. We moved it up from starting at $2,500 to $10,000 thanks to the council. The other thing is we place liens on properties that the city has. If you see DPW cleaning a lot or abandoned property, there is a price tag to that. We're not doing it for free, they do clean on their property.
Director, I have a question for you though.
Yes.
I know that we're always looking to hire inspectors. Is that situation now, are there positions available that can help? You want to elaborate on that?
There are positions available, we just have some retirees for inspectors, they'll post in the next week hopefully. We do with the green team and any other volunteer group that wants to help out. We're more than happy to have them go to our community program, so everyone wants to help out, just reach out.
Go to that.
We're also making a concentrated effort to place cameras in habitual spots. We have a lot of partners, like Mayor mentioned, UBC is one of those partners that provides cameras. She's going to provide a whole bunch more now. We also got rings and cameras that we're going to partner with, not just us, but the police, so we can all use them, not only garbage, but for crime. UBC is also helping us provide new garbage cans in the city. We have a crime problem here in most commercial corridors that the tenants in most buildings think that the garbage cans on the corners belong to the buildings. They bring garbage out every day, all day, even though the garbage is on 2 days a week. With that, when that happens, bags get ripped, animals get into them, cause infestations. We just have a terrible problem living around the city because of the way garbage is placed out. Residents that live in homes that are theirs sometimes have the same problem with those containers. You know, we have containers in cities, some very, very wild animals. Recently, foxes. We have to change the way people put their garbage out, so they have an understanding of they have handed how the city works. Like we always say, DPW is a thankless job. People think that it's our job to clean up their properties. It is not. It is the residents' responsibility. I always use the same example when I'm asked this question in town halls or even if I'm just with residents. I ask them all the same question. You go to the second ward in Hillcrest, do you see litter? You go to the Sword neighborhood in the east side section, do you see litter? No. Because the people care about their properties, they maintain them, they take care of them. They only call us when it's absolutely necessary. I have a truck for every ward, and I barely send the second ward truck to the second. I have to maintain the first ward and then way more than the third and second. So it's a behavioral thing we have to work through education. When you start sitting down with residents, make them understand it's not DPW is throwing garbage on the street. It's people in the neighborhood. When we don't hold each other accountable, it will never be fixed. We're never gonna have enough personnel that keeps its tires clean. They're the third largest city in the city. So we have to start educating the residents.
Thank you. Also, as a part of our initiative, the Urban Enterprise Zone, we're purchasing solar powered trash receptacles. They should be arriving later this year, and you selected the sites. Hopefully, that'll have a positive impact on the situation as well. And the advantage, do you want to elaborate as far as the advantage of having solar powered trash receptacles in a more sustainable city? And that just falls in line with what our objective is.
So the majority of cans in the city are just that, just cans. People place garbage in, we're way behind technology. The new solar powered cans have hydraulic systems in them, so it won't be one day that you have traffic downtown on Main Street, people put garbage in that I have to speed and empty it. It'll compress inside and give me enough time to concentrate on other areas that are way worse than Main Street. Not only that, it will electronically tell me when the can is full. So I don't have to drive every road in the city to make sure that my guys don't can. I'll automatically be able to see it on my phone, I'll automatically be able to pinpoint where I want to start every morning. It's gonna save us time, it's gonna save us manpower, and it gives us the opportunity to help other areas.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And we actually are switching garbage companies.
Yes.
Going from Roselle to Philco. I was quoted in the paper, I'm quoted here a lot. I was quoted in the paper yesterday, saying it was a big victory for the taxpayers because it does represent a significant cost savings. My garbage was not collected yesterday. I'm not saying that there was a direct correlation between what I said and how the company does. But I'm sure you got it today. Okay, thank you.
Sure, I mean, a lot has been said on this issue, I was talking about Louis, but I think now I can talk about, just the mayor's efforts in beautifying the city. A lot of our dump spots for parks, abandoned parks, so you think of Clinton Street, Leicester Titus, now Vista Park. Vista Park is a very popular dump site. So now with the money we've been able to bring in, and thanks to that NBA, money we've been able to allocate to the city, or, grant funding or art funding, we're really beautifying the city and beautifying areas that were, previously dump sites.
It's true, the Armory, Leader died into the stadium. All done, like you said, illegal dumping sites. Director Della.
So we do have two more questions that came in from online. And the first question, what are the plans for addressing the state on the mortality rate of newborns of women of color and the accessibility of prenatal care for women in the city?
So I'm gonna actually yield to the Director of Ramirez because within the Division of Health, we do work with a nonprofit organization. So if you want to elaborate about healthy mothers, healthy babies, and what we're doing as far as maternity is concerned.
We do have health educators to go out into the community. We, like the mayor said, we do have partnerships like Believe Destiny, where they do offer a lot of information to expectant mothers and, as you said, women of color who have high mortality during childbirth. Our local hospital does a lot of work with this, and so does the Paterson Community Health Center, where we refer individuals to community representation. So we do have a network of in-state information, beginning with Believe Destiny, which is a great resource.
Mrs. Gomes?
Sure, and just to add to that, we are a part of a cooperative with St. Joseph's Partnership for Maternal Child Health, and in the city of Paterson, we started a doula program last year. We had our first 12 doulas who graduated, so we now have women who are residents of Paterson who can come alongside pregnant women during that let's just say the stage where they don't maybe know how to go get access to health care, or maybe they're having difficulty advocating for themselves. And now Medicaid is willing to pay for a doula to walk alongside these pregnant moms while they're, giving in the process of the birth as well as postpartum. Because what we also found is postpartum is a very high-risk time for a lot of our women, particularly women of color. And I could go on and on in terms of the successes we've had connecting with women of color as it relates to maternal child health. But one of the latest things we just started doing is doing a program in partnership with Health Coalition of Passaic County calling Pathways to Healthy Living. So now we're targeting them before they get pregnant. We're going through the social determinants of health, helping them to identify what are the most high-risk areas they need to address in order to be healthy and to have healthy birth outcomes. When I tell you the success has been overwhelmingly positive, we have women walking into our office saying, we heard about this, how do we participate? Unprecedented. And because if you were to ask me, I would say, no, women don't want you in their business like that. They don't want to come and talk to you about their social determinants of health and where they're having issues. But because they're having so many breakthroughs, they're showing up saying, how do I get access to this? No, I'm not pregnant, but I want to be prepared in the event that I become pregnant. So there's lots of help. And we also partner with Nurturing New Jersey, which is under the leadership of Tammy Murphy, our First Lady.
Thank you, Pastor. I think it's a matter of people being informed and safe about doula programs and other assistance we can provide for women.
Thank you for sharing that information. Our last question: what input has the planning board taken into account regarding parking and the congestion for the multi-dwellings?
I'm going to address that first, and then I see that our economic development director would like to weigh in on this one as well. I know that not only the planning board, but also the zoning board, they're both sticklers for parking. So we do make it a point to say that for every unit, there should be a parking spot. That's logical. And quite frankly, there is a great deal of development that's taking place in Paterson. We're in growth mode. We're reducing the number of abandoned properties by almost 80%. But we do understand this is an old city. As a matter of fact, this downtown was developed when we had horses and buggies. So if we're gonna modernize our city, we have to take into consideration that with future projects, we should have more of a parking component. For example, with Hitchcliff Stadium, we required that you would have a parking facility. With the visitor center that we're building at the Great Falls Youth Center, there will be parking as well. Downtown, we demolished the antiquated parking garage, and we're going to build a new parking garage for downtown as well, but also have enough acreage where you can build some retail and potentially some residents as well. But yes, we're making it a requirement for some of these major developments where you can have parking garages, but I do anticipate in the future, for example, with South Paterson, growing by leaps and bounds, where ultimately it's going to be, and the BA likes to espouse the whole public-private partnership notion, where you're going to have to see something where perhaps the small business community in South Paterson, along with the government, do something about parking there so that there isn't as much congestion and there isn't as much double parking. 21st Avenue is going to have to also do something as well. But Director, your debut.
My debut. It's the question really hits home only because of a city this size. I know how parking can be such a great concern. It's one of the issues that we're looking to currently address. Again, I'm new within the department. I'm working with our planning director now to actively review our current ordinance and make sure that future development projects incorporate more parking into some of their development projects. We also have to consider that we are somewhat of a transit-oriented village, and we do have access to a train station where more and more younger generations are actually looking to not purchase cars, but to be in a walkable community. And so we do have, we're within walking distance right now to the train station. So parking within your downtown development, within your downtown corridors are not necessarily requiring significant one-to-one parking. But certainly in the outskirts of the area, we will look at making sure that development projects have more parking to meet some of the needs in those areas.
Well said, Director.
Mayor, can I-
Yes.
So I'm gonna add as well, the mayor mentioned that, we were at the Bloomberg City Lab last week
Yeah.
in DC, and one of the plenaries was about busing in your communities and how, you can both address climate change and parking issues. So, we're looking at next steps, possibly trying to, create some sort of partnership where we can better utilize the busing system within the city. So, you no longer have to purchase a car, to Director Tiffany Harris Delaney's point. And, maybe you can just live in the city and use the busing system and get to work that way.
And to dovetail on what our Chief of Staff said, the mayor of Glasgow in Scotland has gone as far as saying that within, I think it's like 5 years, they're gonna ban all private cars. And then the mayor of London, very ambitious, by 2040 is saying 80% reduction, where you're gonna see more bicycling, walking, and using public transportation. I don't think Paterson is gonna take that much of a leap, but we'll see. We're always open, yeah, it's an option, yeah.
Well, that is the conclusion of our Q&A. I would like to say thank you for allowing me to be your moderator today. And at this time, I'll be turning this meeting over to our mayor.
Thank you, Director Dell. Let's have a round of applause for our Director of Community. So, we're gonna be doing this frequently and as a part of our program in a way to end on a positive note. I wanna highlight Patersonian, who's doing positive work in our city. As a matter of fact, we talked about abandoned properties, but we also have to talk about what individuals within our community are doing to take back some of these abandoned properties and do something productive with it and positive, and also have it serve as a teachable moment. So on the corner of 12th and Rosa Parks, which I'm sure you're fully aware of, that's been transformed into a farm. Who would have thought you'd have a farm in the 4th Ward on 12th and Rosa Parks Boulevard? And this individual we're about to honor took it a step further. We have a greenhouse at that site as well. And so we want to become more of a sustainable city. As a matter of fact, we just received good news, this statewide certification program known as Sustainable Jersey. Last year we were bronze certified, now we are silver certified. And we applaud the efforts of an individual who lives in the city of Paterson, who obviously cares for the city of Paterson, who has created that farm on the corner of Rosa Parks and 12th Avenue, and that greenhouse, and that is our honoree, PatStat's first awardee, Deacon Willie Davis. Let's hear from Deacon Davis.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
I am Deacon Willie Davis with a dream and a vision for Paterson and for our youth and for our city. Back in 2014, we started Green Acre Community Garden with a dream and to make a difference in Paterson, to make a place where people can come, eat, relax, read books, and just enjoy it. And I just want to give honor to our mayor. He's been a good part of what we are doing. And when we did the greenhouse back in 2000, we came and cut the ribbon at the greenhouse. It was one part of our dream that we have it's not just a greenhouse. It's a house for development, it's a house for the future, it's a beginning for a new era in Paterson. It was set in order to start a beginning. Let people know what we can do in in an area like Fourth Ward. It's that place where, like, oh my God, it was terrible when we started there. But now in 2023, it is a safe area. It's a well-kept place. It's feeding over 500 people a year. And the food that is being grown there is organic. My voice, my language, I'm a country boy, so bear with me, okay? Because I'm still country, even though I've been here over 50 years. They say you can take the boy out of the country, but you can't take the country out of the boy. And what I'm saying to you is, this was a dream that was given to me by our Holy Father. And it was 5 years in advance before I got this garden that he showed me in a dream, in my vision, this place, how we can develop it into a place where we have a youth program, nutrition program, even program for people that come out of prison if they want to come and work in our garden. We have the Rutgers University. They came out, they donated a 500-gallon rainwater system to the garden. And we have another organization from New York came out and gave me a compost bin was built from the ground. There's 3 stories where you can compost our food, compost the dirt that go back into there. So everything in this garden, what I'm saying to you is, it's all neutral, it's all natural. And what the goal of this garden is to keep everything in the original state. We gotta let the people know that where it began yesterday, it still is today. But we have to bring it here. We have to show it, we have to keep it. We have to stand in that gap to let people know that we can do it. But in order to do it, not me, it's us. So I need all of y'all help to help keep Green Acre Community Garden going, because it's very important. Because we are in the food desert state right now. And the food that the kids, the people, whoever needs this good food, we need the food. The nutrient that grown in this garden, called no chemical. We don't use chemical. Everything is natural. What I'm saying is this. I was raised on a farm, right? And everything we ate was natural. And here I am now today, 73 years old. I don't have no sickness. I don't have no disease. Because I live on the land. Don't forget, I eat meat too now. But I live on the land. I believe in purity. I believe in eating what you grow. I believe in giving the best. And in order to get the best, you gotta receive the best, and you gotta get the best. Give the best, I mean. And we want to give the best. So help me with Green Acre Community Garden. Help support, because it's a nonprofit. There is no funding, and I need funds. So I have right now, I'm doing a fundraiser in Green Acre Community Garden for the 11th of next month. We selling tickets right here.
Yeah, right here. I brought them. A shameless plug, everyone. Don't forget to get Everyone go, we need to sell. I have 1,000 tickets. So I need to sell all 1,000 tickets, because running the greenhouse is very important, because that's where everything started. And it costs for the electric, everything in the greenhouse, it costs over $5,000 a year just to run the greenhouse, not including the dirt, not including the wood, not including the work. And plus, I asked for volunteers. In order to get volunteers to come in, it's kind of hard, because when there's no funding, people don't want to work. Or first thing they ask me how much you're paying. I say, God given, and you receive. So help me to help those that cannot help themselves.
And another thing I would like to say is, we need a program where we can help the senior citizen. Because just because I have the food there, they don't mean they can come and get it. So we gotta find a way that we can get the food to our senior citizens. The younger people can come out, but help me find a way so we can take the food to them, so they can be able to eat this nursing food that we have in the garden. So I thank y'all for this honor of today. I wasn't expecting it, but my mayor called me yesterday and told me to come down today. I was surprised, so I give honor to each and every one of you here, and I thank you for your good work that you're doing, but keep up the good work, because we need more. And Paterson is changing. I remember back in the 60s how it was. I remember every decade how it changed. And I see the change to not good. But now it's time for us to come together as family, as brothers and sisters. Let's make Paterson a dream place as it was yesterday, so our youth can have a place. And let's bring everything back. We need this for our kids, because our kids now have lost the way because they didn't have nothing to do. So when they don't have nothing to do, they're going to find something to do. And what they find to do is not good. So let's develop, like y'all say you want to do for the kids, let's give the kids, let's give them a place to go, a place where they can understand, a place where they can have a program that will teach them. And send them to a Green Lake Community College, because we have a program there we can teach them also. Because it's very important to teach the kids where the food comes from, how to grow the food. Because in the future, you know, the price of everything gonna go so high to the most people cannot afford to buy it. So help us to build more Green Lake Community Garden, more greenhouses in Paterson, because we need this, like I said, just at the beginning or the beginning. So let's not let it end, let's grow it, let's make it grow bigger, better, and greater for each and every one. All right? Thank you.
Yeah, I know. Deacon has reminded me the raffle tickets are $10. Please see him before you leave. We're gonna lock the doors and make sure everyone supports his efforts. So thank you. I talk about my team all the time. Now everyone gets to see the team. I trust my team, and I want the public to trust my team as well. If we're gonna become a city of synergy and city of solutions, then we need teamwork. There's no getting around it. Paterson is a work in progress. We're doing a lot of work and we're making a lot of progress. But we have more work to do and more progress to achieve. So I want to thank everyone for participating in our initial PatStat meeting. We will see everyone soon. Thank you.